Hey everybody, welcome back. This is some juicy TikTok wedding drama I still think about. Compilation!
The groom's ex-girlfriend.
I got uninvited. I do not like this wedding dress.
Two girls wore white at my friend's wedding. This one wore alleged wedding dress. The bride got sad.
Were those dresses actually white? Let's take a better look. I mean, certainly in this lighting, it does look pretty wedding dressy, especially this one. How is it so hard to just pick a color? You know, like just pick a color or a pattern. Why are we like pushing the boundaries of what is white and what is not? If in doubt, pick a different dress. It's not that hard. Or save it for a different event. Like, I don't know why it's hard to grasp the concept of don't wear white to a wedding. There are so many other colors in the world. Agreed. So many other colors, so many wonderful opportunities to wear a fun dress. Like, why that color? Red wine?
Yes, please.
You mean like the color red wine or like the color red wine? I wouldn't be sad because I know well, my guests would be throwing all the shade, so I don't have to. And I'd look graceful for being unbothered. Exactly what we did. Just make them really, really uncomfortable, you know? Oh, that's a nice dress, but like, it's kind of white, no?
You got me.
You like haven't heard that rule? Oh, you have? Oh, I see. You've heard the rule, don't wear white to a wedding. Okay, so why are you wearing it? This is what my mother-in-law tried to do. She also did it at her nephew's wedding and wanted to do it at my soon-to-be sister-in-law's wedding. Crazy people. This is because they're doing it on purpose, babe. All right, apparently we got a response.
So I'm not here to stir the pot, but one of the girls from the video, the first girl, found me on Instagram and decided to send me this really long text message. Please pause to read. Let me translate what she says.
Yes.
She's saying that her dress was not white. Her dress was peach with pink undertones. But the crazy part is not that she was wearing a pink dress that looked white in the video. The crazy part is that she wants to now sue me under the US civil rights because according to her, it's considered defamation. What? So what do you guys think? Can she sue me? And is the dress peach or white?
I mean, can we figure out who she is? Do we know who that person is based on the video? I need some more context as to what that text says, okay?
If you want tea, I'll give you the freaking tea.
Didn't you just say that you're not here to stir the pot? I mean, I'm here for it. Seems like you're getting a little excited though.
Hello, Isabella. This is a Bolivian who you posted on your TikTok without any consent. I am writing this message to clarify that the dress I was wearing is not white, but peach with pink undertones, which makes your post targeted and false information about the facts. You don't know me, but to give you a little background about me, I'm an educated person and my family is respected in the community. They have taught me well about etiquette and protocol and the reasons why a white dress should not be worn at a wedding. It's a shame that you didn't notice the color of the dress before posting something like this on social media. It wasn't an opinion on the dress. It was flat out stated it was white and disrespectful. We should be a little bit more conscious of the things we post and the things we say that can be harmful to others, especially if we're uncertain what we're posting. As a TV host, you surely know very well about laws and civil rights. What you did under the US civil rights is considered defamation of character, libel, and slander, causing harm to my person and my reputation. My lawyer will contact you directly. I am sending a photo of the dress so that you can see it more clearly. Honey,
I think she does have a right to sue if it's obvious that it's her in the video. If it's not obvious, not so much.
Am I in trouble or not?
So this is the picture of the dress that was sent. Okay, so it's her. She's also like kind of low-key identifying herself by sending you a message. All right, so the dress. This is the dress held up against a white dress. I mean, it is off-white. It's like an eggshell. I wouldn't say it's peach. We also have to remember that cameras can kind of do some tricks and some lighting can do some tricks.
I did a little collage so we can put them side by side. What do we think? Is it peach? Is it white? This was taken at the wedding in direct sunlight. And these, I have no idea. It looks like it was taken in a room, in a bed, you know, when the light is not the best. So let me know what you guys think. Would you wear this dress to a wedding? Yes or no?
I don't know. What do you guys think? This is what the comments say. Blush is definitely a wedding dress color though. For bridesmaids it is. If that's your like wedding colors and you pick it. Looks off-white / cream, basically another shade of white. Chronically online, to be honest. Could be. It still looks like a wedding dress. That's another point. It's lacy, it's floor length. The color is too close to champagne or ivory cream colors that brides usually choose for their dresses, and the lace detail doesn't help her case. Her case! It looks more like a bridesmaid's dress more than anything. I want to know about the second dress because that was a wedding dress. Between us, she was the groom's cousin. Okay, girl. Between us and all of TikTok. Got it. This absolutely blew up on TikTok, and judging by how good people on TikTok are at finding people, something tells me that the girls in this video were definitely found.
I will find you.
Is the dress white? Is it not? Defer to the audience.
Does anyone have just some like absolutely bananas wedding drama?
I used to be a wedding photographer and I've done around 200 weddings, and I have a lot of stories. But there's one story that always seems to take the cake for the best wedding story. I was working in the office and I got a call on a Tuesday from our Saturday bride. She said, "Are you our photographer?" "Yeah." "Okay, well, I need to cancel." "Okay, we need it in writing, so can you email it?" "Sure, no problem." Now, typically when they cancel, especially the week of, they're either very pissed or very sad. She wasn't. She was happy. It was weird. So on Wednesday, we get an email from the groom's aunt, who had apparently bought it for them as a wedding package, saying that there will never be a wedding between those two because the bride got married to someone else on Monday.
No!
She got married to someone else the same week.
No!
She was supposed to marry someone else.
No! I'm not even mad. I'm just impressed. So could you like transfer? Oh, I guess the wedding already happened. Yeah, I guess there's no need now. Well, that's not one I've heard before, I have to be honest. How do you have literally 2 options for husbands? Where are y'all finding these men?
Tinder?
So for about 12 years before I had my children, I worked for 2 different bridal boutiques. And I had this one really lovely bride. But about a week before her wedding, she was due to come in for her final fitting and she didn't show up, which was really just unusual for her. She was always on time for her appointments, or if she was going to be late, she always called. So I tried to call her, but she didn't answer. The next day, her sister called and told me that the wedding was off because they found out the groom had been cheating. When I said, I'm so sorry, I am so sorry, you know, at least she's got you and her mum to, you know, rally behind her and, you know, support her through this tough time. The sister said, no, he was cheating on her with their mum.
And now I bet you feel so bad. Oh, well, at least you have your mom. At least your mom's there for you. No.
She's not.
She'll be there to console the groom, but not the bride.
Ironic.
At my wedding, my ex-stepdad brought his new girlfriend, which was not dramatic in and of itself. I'd met her once. It was fine that she was there. Until it was speech time and this took the microphone.
Stop!
Because
No!
I'd met her once before, but over the course of the evening of my wedding, it had become clear that she was pretty bananas.
Bananas!
She was holding a microphone about to say something. So my maid of honor, God bless her, did the most beautiful drive-by stealth tackle I've ever seen in my life. She just hooked her with her arm like she was putting her arm around her, wrenched the microphone out of her hand, and kept on walking and started her speech,
Damn right.
which was beautiful.
Period, babe.
If nothing else, in our 20 years of friendship, I will love her forever for that moment. And then the next day, my mother-in-law also stole all the leftover wedding cake for reasons I still don't totally understand. Like, I love cake more than anything.
Buddy. Why do you have to live up to the name monster-in-law? Like, why do you gotta do that? You know, you already have a stigma surrounding you, all right? The in-laws are always a source of pain, disappointment, and drama. So why not try to be the opposite? You know, like, why do you have to live up to the evil stepmother name? Why be a cliche, you know? Cliches can sometimes be right, though, let's be honest. Stereotypes are stereotypes because they're true. And the wedding cake, like, come on now. Like, you know she was doing that just to be petty. Like, you know. That wasn't necessary. She did that on purpose.
2 weeks before our wedding, my husband's uncle, who was the patriarch of the family and like a father to my husband, passed away. We unfortunately had to scrape together a funeral 1 week before our wedding at the same location that we were getting married. Immediately after the funeral, we discovered that my husband's aunt, his wife, has a massive drinking problem and pill problem. So we have to get her into a rehab facility. She goes through some treatment. She's doing great. Couple weeks later, she comes out and dies 10 days after our wedding.
No!
And if that wasn't enough, having to bury 2 of the patriarchs of my husband's family within 1 month of each other, on our wedding night, my husband's best man, so-called best friend, had a mental breakdown and came and woke us up where we were sleeping on our wedding night at 5 in the morning to try to convince one of us to take him back to the city, which was over an hour away.
Stop. Are you freaking serious right now? I don't know what it is about weddings. It makes people go absolutely bananas. It's like people can't just shut the hell up for one day and just let it be about somebody other than them. Like, why do you gotta bring all your emotional baggage on this day that's not supposed to be about you? Does that hurt your feelings?
Many years ago, I flew back to Winnipeg to attend a friend's wedding. During the wedding reception, I knew absolutely no one there. She was busy tending to other guests and stuff, and I felt really, really shy, so I had a hard time going to hang out with random people that I don't know. One of the groomsmen came up to me and asked me if I wanted to hang out with him and his friends, so I said yes, and throughout the evening we were dancing together, and then the bride got super mad at me. She pulled me aside and told me that I was being asleep. And I was just super confused. I didn't know what was happening. And then the groomsman came back and asked me what was going on. And I told him, and he was just like, I'm sorry about that. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on. And he said that she was actually in love with him, but she had also slept with his best friend, who was the groom, and she got pregnant, so she was marrying the best friend.
Stop! I love how we're going over to someone because we're jealous and we're calling them a That's why I don't like that term. I feel like people say it when they're projecting and they feel that way about themselves. Why is that even part of your vocabulary? Let's get rid of that word. It shouldn't exist. How dare you flirt with someone at my wedding? Isn't that like kind of why a lot of people go to weddings, is to like meet people? I know tons of couples that have met at weddings. And it's just inevitable. I mean, like, everybody's like in love and like kissy, love, love, love. When you're single, it is like so unbelievably painful to go to a wedding and see all these wonderful, happy couples.
Why should they be happy?
So yeah, right, you're gonna find the like 1 or 2 single people there, and you're gonna make yourself a little less lonely, if you know what I mean.
My stepmother of 10 years told my dad she wanted a divorce out of the blue a week before my wedding. Not only did this put a bit of a damper on things, my stepsister was officiating my wedding, my stepbrother-in-law and my stepbrother were groomsmen, and we had to pretend like it was all fine. Because a lot of like my stepmom's friends were invited to my wedding, and I was like, there's no way in hell she's going to make this about her. So we all pretended like everything was fine, like we were all great. Then my stepbrother got face drunk, had to be escorted off the property when he tried to interrupt the best man to give a speech declaring his love for me. And our photographers were instructed to get her in 0 photos.
Oh, stop making weddings about yourself. It's not about you. Oh, God. I mean, unless you're the bride and groom, it's really not about you. I told you, you get one day. How hard is that for people to understand? One day where it's about you, and people need to make it about you, and they need to put their personal problems aside and just like human for a second. Is that like difficult for some people to just like be human? I know the majority of them suck.
What a bunch of...
You're confused. I was the bride and I'm still confused, and I do not understand how we had multicolored dresses and even the groom changed the color of his kilt last minute. And people wonder why I had a nervous breakdown after my wedding. I tried to be a nice bridesmaid. I tried to give them choices. That was my first mistake. I've been a bridesmaid. It was an awful experience, to be honest. And I've seen my friends absolutely a bag of nerves because they're being forced to wear a bridesmaid's dress that doesn't suit them, doesn't flatter them, and they feel horrendous. I wasn't going to do that to my people. Let's just have a little look at the lineup, shall we? So, you've got 3 groomsmen in hired navy blue kilts that have got a bit of green in. Then you've got 3 green bridesmaids. Then you've got me in white, which surprised everybody. Then you've got Ian, not in the kilt. I went to Scotland and got for him. Then you've got another bridesmaid in green. Then you've got another bridesmaid in champagne. And then you've got 3 groomsmaids in blue. So I bought this wedding planner guide, and once you've picked your date and where you're getting married, the first thing they tell you to do is pick a colour theme. Now, I don't really care what the colour theme was, but Ian's favourite colour is green, and I also really like green. My ring is an emerald, so I was like,
beautiful ring.
Green or gold? Green and gold. Perfect. Job done. Decision made. As I said, I tried to be a nice, understanding bride. I wanted my people that I had chosen to take part in my wedding to feel bloody marvellous. I wasn't going to tell them what they had to wear, how they had to do their hair. I wanted them to be whomever they wanted to be. I wanted them to express themselves. My God, asking a group of women what they want to wear and to choose whatever they feel good in seems to be the hardest job in the world. I knew I wanted green. I said, okay, if you really have to, gold is acceptable, but you know, I'd kind of like you all to wear the same colour. You don't have to wear the same style of dress because not everybody's body shapes are the same, but please, let's all stick to the same colour theme. It's like getting blood out of a stone. Absolute blood out of a stone. There also wasn't ever a time when all of the bridesmaids were available at the same time, and they don't seem to have bridesmaids shopping as a thing anymore. So I went online and I bought almost every green bridesmaid's dress I could find in a variety of sizes, and I made them all try them on, with the exception of the girl who wore champagne. We'll get to her in a minute.
Yeah, why the champagne?
On these dresses. And then when they picked one, I sent the others back, but then Royal Mail lost them and it cost me a fortune. Luckily, I
Oh
got
my gosh.
compensation. Eventually. One of my best friends actually had 2 dresses because she couldn't choose, and I was like, just keep them both. Just keep them both. Because I can't send them back now because it's taken you too long to come and try them on. So keep them both, and on the day of the wedding, just choose one.
Oh,
Let's get to the girl
jeez.
in champagne.
Ooh.
You might think that she's the maid of honor because she's wearing a
That's what I
completely
thought.
different dress to the
I
other
thought that
one.
was what was going on.
She's not. The girl next to her is the maid of honor.
Oh.
That's my sister. And if you look up the word diva in the dictionary, you may find her photograph.
Oh.
She doesn't want to wear green. She doesn't like green. She wanted to wear gold.
brother.
She didn't want me to buy the dress for her. I had no idea what she was wearing pretty much until she turned up 10 minutes before the wedding. Because her and my mum are no contact. Her dress cost twice as much as my dress. It's Saint Laurent, don't you know?
Oh
She
my
happens to be
God.
very, very wealthy. Well,
Oh.
her husband is. I actually didn't know until maybe a week before the wedding, whether my niece and nephew were even going to be in the wedding at all, or even come to the wedding. Families, eh?
Oh
So then
my
Ian,
God.
didn't want to pick a best man. He has 3 very close male friends. He didn't want to pick a best man, so he made the dog best dog. She was the least trouble out of anyone involved in this wedding. He also has 3 female friends. They're all a big group. They all kind of like went to uni together, and it's all a bit incestuous, and I don't know. They're very nice people. Ian and I, as you know, went up to Scotland and we hired 3 kilts for the groomsmen. We sent them pictures of what they would look like. And I'm not going to lie to you, I didn't give a what colour the groomsmen wore. By the time I was in Scotland, I was so frazzled that it was whatever was the cheapest option. So Ian's female friends took it upon themselves to buy matching blue dresses, which they don't know caused a big argument between me and Ian, because I did not want blue. Blue was not my colour theme.
Oh,
it was
no.
green or it was gold.
Okay, babes.
I'm gonna say this because I care about you and because I am also a recovering people pleaser. You're being too nice. And listen, I know we all don't want to be a bridezilla. We all don't want to make people uncomfortable. We don't want to act like a diva. We don't, God forbid what we get what we want on our wedding. You're being too nice to these people and they're thinking that they can just do whatever the hell that they want. I also think it was a mistake to say that she could wear gold because your sister showed up in champagne thinking that that was okay, probably. Or she just tried to upstage you with a gold dress and a very expensive designer gold dress at that. I feel like you could have set a little more of a boundary here.
But Ian had already okayed the blue groomsmaid dresses. Oh
brother.
God. So I just gave in. I was like, I don't care. I literally don't care. They're not bridesmaids, they're groomsmaids. Nobody's going to understand this, but I know, so it doesn't matter. And when we went up to Scotland, we got Ian measured for a kilt, and it was a second-hand one because a new kilt costs thousands of pounds. So it was a second-hand one, and it was going to be white with red. It's the Stuart tartan. I was really excited for him to wear it, and he had like a very light grey, almost cream white jacket, whatever it's called. Even though it was second-hand, it still cost me a fortune. He wanted to wear his family tartan, which is a very rare tartan and would cost thousands upon thousands of pounds. But Ian is a lucky bastard, and when he tagged himself in Scotland for a kilt fitting, some guy he went to university with got in touch with him and said, oh, my sister makes kilts and she works on this TV production company. Send us your details, your measurements, and we'll get you your family tartan, which turned up 10 days before the wedding. Wow. It was an incredibly generous gift. We got the whole thing for free. Didn't fit though. Ian insisted he was going to wear it. So I was then running around measuring places, whatever they're called. Dressmakers, alteration people. Because it wasn't too big. No, it was too small. Ian wanted a miracle. And call me Jesus, I managed to find one. The bridesmaids, with the exception of my sister, all had matching shoes that I had found for them. And if you thought them trying to pick a dress was difficult, the morning of the wedding, when they had had 9 months to decide how they wanted their hair and makeup, which is very ironic because at my sister's wedding, we all had to have exactly the same hair and makeup, even though it didn't suit some of us, and we all had to wear exactly the same dress, which might have been easier, I don't know. But I do think expression is important. And if you've made it to the end of this video, go and get yourself a drink because I'm stressed just thinking about all of this.
Girl, anybody else need a shot? Oh my God. Everybody! Realistically, they are very small problems, but these are the types of things that will make a bride freak the fuck out. This is what will drive you to be a bridezilla. It's like wrangling sheep. To be fair, I think the green and the blue work. Like, I think they work. They match the kilt. I don't think that that's a loss. What I find frustrating is your sister. This champagne dress, it's only appropriate if she was the maid of honor, and I get why she wasn't. I certainly get it. I don't understand why people can't just respect the bride's wishes. Even if I felt uncomfortable in a dress, I would still wear it. It's not my day. Realistically, it's not that big of a deal. Just bite the bullet. She's already stressed out about a million other things. Don't add more stress to the bride's day. Oh my God, I feel this bridesmaid's dresses were the most stressful part of the entire wedding planning process. Okay, so you know what's a good alternative? Just tell your bridesmaids to wear black. Just wear black. Everyone has a black dress, right? No, the girl in champagne would have been sent back home to change or sit with the rest of the guests. I mean, she's her sister, so it's like, you can't really do that. She did that on purpose. She did that on purpose!
Here is the wild story of how our wedding venue forced us to cancel our wedding. If this didn't happen to me personally, I would not believe you that it was a real story. It is the most bizarre thing that I've ever experienced. I really struggled with whether or not to share this publicly. I don't want to slander this venue in any way, but I think there's a lot of teachable lessons here. I just
Why? Let's slander.
Anyone else. Backstory, we were supposed to get married in September 2024 in Mallorca, Spain. My mom and I visited the property in June in person. I absolutely fell in love. I felt chills. It was a full body yes moment. There wasn't any red flags early on. When we got back to the States, they sent us a proposal, which was 40,000 euro for the 4 nights. In order to lock in our dates, all we had to do was submit a deposit for half the total amount. We literally did that, no question, because this venue was getting all kinds of press in Vogue, all these big magazines, and I wanted to make sure the dates were locked in. Being a business owner, I asked for a contract. They said, of course, we're working on getting a contract. A few weeks go by, don't hear anything. I asked for a contract a total of 4 separate times. All of a sudden, I hear from owner of the hotel who lets me know that our point of contact there has actually left. She said they would get the contract to me when they hired this new events coordinator. They assured me everything was locked in, the dates were secured, so I went ahead and continued to plan my wedding. I sent the deposit in August, planned for 4 full months, booked vendors, sent out invites, people booked flights, and wedding dress shopping. I was making shit happen. End of November, the wedding planner sends me a text. I'm having an issue with the venue. They want to renegotiate the proposal.
No. Hold on a second. You sent the deposit before you signed a contract, babes? I'm not out here to victim shame here. I'm really not. But like also as a business owner, you send the money when the contract is signed and not before. Just for future reference for other people who are doing this, no funds are exchanged unless you have something in writing.
Wedding planner sends me a text. I'm having an issue with the venue. They want to renegotiate the proposal. My heart drops. 10% inflation. Fine. Max, right? No. They wanted to increase the price to 200,000 euro. In case you're not a math whiz, like I wasn't, that's a 400% increase.
That is crazy.
4 months of planning for this wedding. Their story is the owner of the hotel never approved this proposal that was sent to us by an employee of said hotel. As a business owner, I understand mistakes happen, yet simultaneously, there are times when people come before profit. And this was one of those times.
All right, you know what? You want to know what happened here? You booked this wedding venue before they raised their prices.
Okay.
That's what happened. They're getting all this press. They're, like having to, competitive pricing, et cetera, et cetera. And then they decide to raise their prices, even though you had already had an agreement at the set price. That is insane to me. A 400% increase, that is.
There may be things that happen internally that cost you money as a business, but you don't pass along that cost to the customer. You certainly don't
Literally
4 months after receiving a deposit from said customer.
Literally.
We try to find middle ground, but how do you find middle ground between 40,000 and 200,000? Ultimately, we come to the decision, we can't afford this. We email our guests and tell them, unfortunately, we're postponing the wedding to summer 2025. A few
Tell me you got your money
don't
back.
Send a deposit before you get a contract. Even if they
Yes.
tell you it's all set, it's all good.
No.
Get it on paper. Luckily,
Period.
got the deposit back. Everything's fine. I did lose about $5,000 of vendor deposits.
No.
And it was also a really incredible thing for them to do. I'm going to take a few months off from wedding
Yeah.
planning completely and just take a break and then revisit in the spring. Who knows if we'll go back to Mallorca or elsewhere.
Okay, please tell me you got your money back. Because a lot of the times you send that deposit, it's non-refundable. Which is why you always get a contract signed before you send the money. Please, I'm gonna hammer it into your head. Never send money without a signed piece of paper.
Oh, man.
I feel for you though, girl. That really, really sucks. There's also such a thing as if you had things in writing, emails sent back and forth that said, they agreed to a certain price and a date and et cetera, that could also be considered a contract. Realistically, if there was correspondence, if they agreed to it and you sent a deposit, that it is what it is, but they just kind of said F you. Honestly, I hope that you got your money back, because if you didn't, you could fully take these people to court. How dare they? And it's your wedding. It's somebody's wedding. Owner got greedy. He saw the press and he was like, nope, we're gonna raise our prices. Everybody else. There ain't no decency left in the world, I'm telling you. Someone wore white to my wedding.
So something happened to me on my wedding day that I didn't think wouldn't happen. I didn't even consider it, it wasn't a worry in my mind. But someone wore white to my wedding. And it wasn't an off-white or a cream. It was full-on white. And this was someone that was a friend of the family that I invited. I don't even know who they were. I don't even know you. And you're wearing white to my wedding? Mine? I paid for this dress. Anyways, I didn't notice until kind of midnight-ish that the wedding ended at 3. And apparently my family had been filling shot glasses with red wine and would walk past her. And they would just chuck the red wine at her dress, at the bottom of her dress. And she didn't notice. And towards the end of the night, her entire dress, the entire bottom tier, was red wine. Just red wine splatters everywhere. Oh. So your family knows to do that. Anyone wears white to your wedding, make sure there's red wine nearby.
I mean, I don't want to say I don't condone this. I don't want to say I condone this. However, I think under the circumstances, you kind of deserve it. The girl with the dress, not the bride. I'm glad you didn't notice until the wedding was almost over. But kudos to your family. If my family doesn't throw red wine on someone that wore white to my wedding, are they even my family?
Do you want some tea? Some serious tea? Story time about how I got uninvited to a wedding. A couple of years ago, I was friends with this girl, and we weren't just friends, we were really good friends. Her hen's party was hosted on Hamilton Island. To attend, everyone who went took 2 days off work and spent over $1,000 in flights, accommodation, and other things. I would have been fine with spending that amount of money if the weekend was fun. However, the weekend was just spent walking on eggshells. This chick was a total bridezilla. This girl was on some weird power trip. Things really escalated on the last night where the girl decided to put a phone ban in place for our dinner. She said that we were specifically allowed to take photos. She just didn't want us sitting on our phones throughout the dinner, editing photos and stuff, which is understandable, but also we're adults. Don't ban us from using our phones. At the dinner, another close friend of mine started taking photos of me and the bride. All of a sudden, the bride loses her. She's like, stop taking photos of me. I don't even want these photos. They're going to be gross anyway. I said there was a phone ban. Nah. The poor girl that was taking the photos ran to the bathroom crying, and I ran to the bathroom after her to console her. When we got back to the table, no one would talk to us. It's as though we'd been completely exiled from the group. the bride started going on about how embarrassed she was that half of the bridal party had been crying in the bathroom throughout her dinner. Mind you, no one in the restaurant knows nor cares who we are. For all they know, we're in the bathroom taking a shit. Anyway, the bride continues to say that she's so embarrassed that we have to leave dinner immediately. We call 2 cabs. Me and my friend, who I'd comforted in the bathroom, get in one, and the rest of the party get in the other. We agreed to meet at this specific spot in town, but when our cab rocked up, we realised that the other cab wasn't there and the girls were nowhere to be found. We started calling them. We're like, what's going on? Where are they? No one would pick up their phones. Eventually, the bride's mother called me and I was like, oh, thank God. A responsible adult who isn't going to act like a child is calling me and I can have a reasonable conversation with her. Quite the opposite happened. The mother was like, where are you? And I was like, I'm at the spot that we said we would meet. And she was like, oh, well, like, we're not there. And I was like, well, obviously, because I'm here waiting for you. So where are you guys? All of a sudden, her tone totally changes. And she goes, are you using attitude with me? I was so exhausted by this point. I was like, yeah, I am a little bit because you guys said you were going to be here and now you're not here and no one's answering their phone and I just want to work out where you guys are. And she goes, you little... You will not be staying in our apartment tonight. You will be staying in the other apartment. I was very confused and taken aback. At this point, I just wanted to get my key, go home and go to sleep. But I couldn't do that because the other girls had the key. I ended up walking along the Esplanade, finding the restaurant that the girls were at. I thought that by that time, everyone would have simmered down a little bit and I could pull up a seat and we could act like normal adults. But again, I was wrong. I pulled up a seat next to the bride. The bride literally turned her head, put her hand up to her face and like would not talk to me. And so it was the most embarrassing thing ever.
Oh my God, give me a break.
I started to publicly apologize in front of the group. I was like, look, babe, if you think that I was, choosing my other friend over you when I went to the bathroom to console her, that's not what was happening.
I'm sorry. Okay, so wait a second. She's mad that you went to the bathroom to console someone that was crying? What was she supposed to do? Leave her there? Just let her cry by herself? That's not how this works.
No.
I love how she tried to play the victim too. I am how embarrassing. You guys are crying. Oh my God, I'm just so embarrassed. How about I'm sorry for making you cry? Jesus, Mary Joseph.
Wanted to make sure she was okay. All of a sudden, the mother gets up and says, I'll handle this. She leans across the table, she's pointing at me, and she was like, how dare you upload a photo before my daughter at her hen's party? And
Stop.
I was like,
Stop.
What? All of a sudden, this fight is about Instagram? The mother was genuinely concerned that I had uploaded a photo before her. Mind you, everyone else at that table had uploaded photos before her. I didn't understand that this was a protocol. If it were, she should have said so, and I wouldn't have uploaded before her. But in the same breath, the photo that I uploaded, it had nothing to do with the hen's party itself. It was just a beautiful scenic shot. Long story short, me and the other girl weren't allowed back into our apartment that night. We were told that we had to sleep in another apartment, which other girls had been staying in the previous night. We slept in dirty sheets. We weren't allowed access to our clothes, our makeup wipes.
Oh my gosh.
Underwear, a toothbrush, that would have been helpful. Nope, we weren't allowed that either. The next day, I knocked on the apartment next door and apologized to the bride. She took me out to the balcony where she starts screaming at me. I tried to apologize and she starts screaming at me going, Amy, I shouldn't have to treat you like a dog. I shouldn't have to treat you like a dog and say, Amy, do this, do that. You should already know that uploading a photo before me at my hands is not okay. I was shocked and appalled by her behavior. Never in my life has somebody spoken to me like that. It was vile. To make matters worse, her mum had booked my flight there. She had booked all of the travel for everyone. So I wasn't even sure if they were going to be adult enough to give me my ticket to get home. So I was stressing this entire day about whether I was going to get home or not, whether I'd have to book myself a whole new flight because they were that petty. Okay, this is way too long. Go to part 2 to find out how I got officially uninvited to the wedding.
Oh dear, oh my God, there's more. There's literally more. Honestly, how do people like this find someone to marry them? Like, how do you find someone dumb enough? Oh my gosh! I love how it's from one extreme to the other. On the one hand, you have some brides who literally get walked all over by everybody, and it's the guests and the bridal party that are the, you know, miscreants, the Zillas. And then on the other hand, you have brides that are absolutely bat crazy. Like, I can't even help but laugh. Like, that is so stupid. Imagine being mad that someone uploaded a photo before you. Please tell me they're divorced. Like, please. Like, how did the wedding even happen? Honestly, wow.
So I finally get home from the hens party from hell. The next day I'm at work and I get a call from the bride. I'm thinking, okay, this is either going to go one of two ways. Either she's going to apologize or she's uninviting me to the wedding. Keep in mind that this girl knew that I'd booked my flights. Not only that, I'd booked my first ever business class flight. I'd bought a dress for $650 and I'd paid for my accommodation, another say $500. Despite that, I pick up the call and she goes, "Hey Amy, so I've been thinking about what happened over the weekend and I just don't think I'd feel comfortable having you at the wedding." My response was, "Oh, thank God. Being stranded on yet another island with you is my idea of hell. Of course I'm not going to your wedding. I couldn't think of anything worse." I said, "Your behavior on the weekend is beneath me." She starts screaming back at me. She's like, "It's not beneath you. It's not beneath you." And I said, No. Your behavior is beneath me. I would never treat another human being like that. Goodbye, catch you never. I then hung up the phone. I blocked her. I blocked her family. I blocked some of her friends. And I never spoke to her again. However, after the fact, I found out that she'd been telling people why I was uninvited to the wedding. Apparently, she'd made up this story about me, some guy on a yacht, which is not only super scammy, but also completely untrue. Clearly, she was embarrassed about her behavior and didn't want to tell her friends what actually transpired because it would have painted her in a really bad light. Anyway, safe to say, I don't miss her, and that was definitely the meanest thing anyone has ever done to me.
My goodness. You know, I was really hoping that you would follow up with a,
"Oh, and the wedding never happened. Oh, and now they're divorced."
I like how she's talking to you as if it's like a privilege to go to her wedding after how she treated you. It's like,
well, you lose your privileges. The privilege of watching me get married. Yes, you are no longer invited to witness the majesty of me marrying some idiot.
oh, thank God. Thank God. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, well, you know, like, to be fair, I wasn't gonna go anyway, because why the would I want to sit there and watch you ruin some poor man's life? That's funny. That's some funny right there.
You are funny.
I have found the new wedding fashion trend for 2024. Handcuffs. This woman was literally dragged out of her wedding in her wedding dress in handcuffs.
Wait, that's not a skit?
The icing on the cake that she never got to cut is also that her husband was a part of this thing that she was being arrested for, and he escaped, and she didn't. So he just left her behind. Red flag, ladies, red flag.
Yeah.
They were arrested for extortion of chicken merchants. I'll be honest, I don't really know what that means.
Chicken merchants?
But they were also arrested for suspected kidnapping of 4 workers in a poultry shop. The beautiful bride is part of a much larger group of people who are involved in this extortion. The extortion of poultry and egg business has lost a lot more money than I ever knew about. $47 million to be exact.
Brides really be out here stealing chickens! You're stealing the chickens! My goodness. That was not on my bingo card for this video. Bride ruins own wedding by stealing chickens and eggs. Was it for like the wedding food, or is this like a totally separate like hobby you have going on?
This whole group is allegedly a part of a criminal organization called La Familia Michoacana. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but this seems to be a big issue.
I'm sorry, y'all are part of the chicken cartel? sorry. They could see this video and hurt me. Sorry. It's funny. You stole chickens and then you got arrested on your wedding day.
I have been a bridal creator for 4 years now, and I have never said this before, but I do not like this wedding dress. Olivia Couple just got married, and this is a great example of how fashion is so much more than just what you see on the surface. When you see fashion, especially wedding dresses discussed on social media, you usually just end up hearing about whether or not the person talking likes the way that it looks, which is extremely subjective. Like this dress, for example, if I were to just look at the dress, I would see a beautiful bride in a beautiful, simple, elegant dress. If we stopped there at just the way the dress looks, we'd really have nothing to say. But it's all the stuff surrounding the dress that leaves kind of a bitter aftertaste.
Okay, so Olivia Culpo got married and she did like a spread for Vogue and she wore this dress and she like did like a feature in Vogue where she talked about how she didn't want to like sexualize herself at her wedding and she wanted it to be very like elegant and like understated, which I think she definitely achieved. Like, honestly, she looks stunning. I really don't mind the modest bride look. I think it's very, very beautiful. However, we don't need to be a modest bride while also shaming other brides for their choices, okay? We also need to be okay with people having their opinions.
Christian McCaffrey and Olivia Culpo are slamming an influencer for criticizing Olivia's wedding dress. Hey there, it's Charlie now from TMZ. So a content creator called The Gown-Eyed Girl who posts bridal opinions posted a review about Olivia Culpo's wedding dress. And she said the dress had, quote, the absence of personality. And she also said, quote, really the only thing about the dress is that it seems like she really wanted to be head to toe fully covered. The review did not sit well with Olivia or Christian. They both posted saying that the content creator is an evil person and that tearing apart the dress was extremely hurtful. And Olivia even said that the dress was everything she wanted and more. The influencer has since responded saying that she's standing by her review and that she's got her own wedding to focus on.
I mean, I didn't mind it. I really didn't mind it at all, actually. Like, yes, it is very simple, but I don't mind it. I also really like the veil as an addition to it. I really do. I honestly, your wedding, your choice. If this is what you want to wear, by all means, go right the ahead. But the thing is like you're doing a spread in Vogue and unfortunately people are gonna have their opinions about it and writing this, wow, what an absolutely evil person you are. I hope no one ever tears you apart this way because it's extremely hurtful. I love this dress. It was everything I wanted and more. And her husband commented, what an evil thing to post online. I hope you can find joy and peace in the world the way my beautiful wife does. I mean, we're not going to play the whole review. We're just not going to do that. It's 6 minutes long. It's just this one influencer's opinion. I didn't really think that it was evil. She was sharing her opinion. She was pointing out like, you don't have to like shame other brides for their choices when explaining why you made your choice, you know? And the irony is this is what she wore to the after party.
Yes. I would say my second favorite next to my ceremony dress, which will be the most important dress I've ever worn in my entire life, is the after party dress. It's so unique. I'm a little teapot.
Kind of goes against what she said.
So if I have like a nice stool, I can. Yeah. It's okay. I'm not going to be sitting, I'm going to be dancing. Our engagement party was about a year ago, and everyone was shocked to see how great Christian was at dancing.
It's like, why do we want to be so covered up for the wedding itself, and then for the after party, we're wearing basically a bathing suit? You know what I'm saying? Kind of contradicting itself. So yeah, there's lots of drama surrounding how Olivia responded. There's also a lot of people who really don't like the dress.
Because baby, they could never make me hate Gown-Eyed Girl. They could never make me hate Gown-Eyed Girl. Her critique was so spot on, and if that's evil, then I want to be evil too. No, but in all seriousness, as someone who has survived multiple cults, please don't ask, I'm quite familiar with the terminology, and it's very interesting the words that Olivia used to describe her wedding dress. And look, if this is the wedding dress that she loves, and she looks gorgeous, no one's saying that she doesn't, if this is the wedding dress that she loves, she felt confident in, she felt like a bride. That's the most important part. You know, you want to make sure you feel like a bride. If this is what she loves, then great, that's fine. But you are a public figure and people are going to point out that you partnered with a problematic design house, and the way you describe your wedding dress and why you chose it is very problematic. And if someone calling that out in a relatively kind way, she didn't say, oh, you're the ugliest I've ever seen. But if someone calling that out and it's directly relevant to their brand and their platform, because Gown Eyed Girl, literally her whole thing is wedding dresses. It makes perfect sense that she made a video about this. If that's evil, then what is you partnering with a racist and homophobic design house? Is that not evil? Is that not gross? Is that not? I mean, like, if you, I hate to be one of those, but if you loved your wedding dress that much, if you were so confident and you're so confident in your choices, then you don't really care what Gown Eyed Girl has to say.
That's what's up.
But here you are, calling her evil and whining and trying to tell us that you did not have a brow lamination and you did not have lash extensions or a lash lift when we literally saw the video. You have makeup on. It's okay. It's okay.
Oh, did she say she didn't have makeup on too? Oh, dear Lord. Oh, God. Like, it's giving pick me. Like, it's giving...
I don't wear makeup. I'm just naturally this beautiful.
Me and my small hands could never. My hands are just so tiny. Relax. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Not wearing mascara, no eyebrow pencil, no lip liner. Oh, my God, this is literally what I said.
Partnered with Vogue to cover their wedding, and I'm not gonna lie, when I read the article talking about her wedding makeup, I got pick me vibes immediately. Don't get me wrong, I love Olivia Culpo, but the fact that Vogue had to go in detail and say that Olivia Culpo is not wearing any mascara, no makeup on her eyebrows, and no lip liner, like, just gave me pick me vibes. I'm sorry. Like, I'm gonna need Vogue to be astronomically for real right now, because we know Olivia Culpo has a lash lift. Like, please zoom in. The lashes are lifting. So obviously she's not gonna be wearing any mascara. And then if you look at her lips, there is something on her lips, either like a lip blush, a lipstick. Like, I don't care that she is not wearing lip liner. Like, be so for real. The fact that they pointed out that she doesn't have anything on her eyebrows, like an eyebrow pencil. I'm like, okay, maybe that one is real. But for Vogue to even point these things out just gave me such weird vibes, because obviously Olivia Culpo did something in order to not wear mascara, in order to not wear a lip liner, in order to not wear a pencil on her eyebrows. Be so for real, Vogue. Like, stop being a pick me.
Woo! All right, we had the same read on that situation, I see. It is giving pick me. It's like, okay, great, you didn't wear makeup, but it's also giving...
Yeah, I didn't wear makeup because I'm just so pretty.
You are so pretty, but like... Okay, we don't need to shame other people for their choices too.
I'm better than you because I didn't wear makeup to my wedding.
Oh, she responded. It was an interview. They asked me what my makeup was. I didn't need mascara. I have lash extensions and a lash lift. Would not have been hard. Oh man, she's fighting for her life in these comments. To be fair, like, I really feel like she was really excited to show everybody her dress, and like, a lot of people didn't like it and didn't like how she presented her choices. I think she's just a little bit butthurt that not everybody was on her side. I just think, like, why make a big deal about it to begin with? Like, you know, it's the added commentary that gives people something to say in response. Because by saying what your choices are, you're also cutting down other women's choices.
Women are up in arms over this bride's wedding dress. Olivia
They
Culpo,
are. They're
arguably
upset.
one of the most beautiful women alive, married Christian McCaffrey last week in a custom gown designed by Dolce & Gabbana. And here's one of the most viral responses that sums up the internet's reaction.
I do not like this wedding dress. First of all, she says, I didn't want to exude sex in any way. The second thing she says is she wanted the dress to be as serious as she takes the covenant of marriage. She even says that her husband thinks she's the most beautiful when she's timeless, covered, and elegant. I just think the usage of the word covered is so icky. It's very clear that this was not a wedding. This was a conservative campaign.
I'm sorry, but what's wrong with taking your wedding day and using it to send a message about what you believe marriage and a wedding is all about? To be honest, this reaction just feels like a bunch of women tearing down Olivia because they're jealous of her natural beauty. Let's be real, this girl doesn't need accessories. She doesn't need cleavage or glitter. Her beauty in itself is the accessory. And y'all probably wish you could be that simple. Here's a woman wearing a dress she believes most accurately represents the covenant she's about to enter into with her partner. And this girl's reaction is essentially, I can't believe you're trying to take this away from women. Girls really do think the wedding day is all about them.
All right, there's another take. Ooh, she checked me. Okay, but no, for real though. Like I said, I like the dress, okay? I do. It's not really about the dress per se for me. It's the comments around it, you know? Everything surrounding the dress. But like, what do you guys think? Do we like the dress? I just think that she's so pretty that she could wear whatever. Yeah, like she's literally so pretty that she could probably wear absolutely anything and do it justice. But I'm curious to know, what do you guys think of that dress?
Imagine delivering photos to us of the night before our welcome party. Like this, okay? Like this. But then get delivered photos of your wedding day and you look like this. Like, can someone explain to me what this is?
A photograph, noun, a picture made using a camera, in which an image is focused onto film or other light-sensitive material.
And like, love this photo, but why are we like full sepia tones? Why do I kind of look like I have like a little bit of a bruise on my face when it's supposed to be like contour and blush? And then why is the sky gray? I mean, it was overcast a little bit, but at the same time, it wasn't that gray. And the ocean is gray. And then I also sent her this image where, if you could tell, my dad's eyes are like this and Mike's eyes is like this. Every image that is shot in this moment, everyone's eyes are squinty like this. Like, if it's too sunny, change our location. And let me give you another example. This was someone took this picture on their iPhone, but look how gorgeous the color of my mom's dress is, okay? It's this beautiful pink, stunning. And this is the color that she turned it into. It's gorgeous, it's fine, but she wasn't wearing coral. You know what I mean? Like, why change this, why put your edits to change the entire, like, coloring of things? I don't understand. I don't know if you're curious. There's an ocean there. That is an ocean. But no, it looks gray. When in reality, this was the coloring, okay? This was the coloring of the ocean. Like, you see the sepia, right? It's full sepia tone. This was reality. This was reality.
Headline, bride discovers filters. Like, what do you mean? Okay, listen, if you don't like certain filters, you can ask the photographer to remove them, you know? Like, there's things you can do to like isolate, let's say, the ocean. I mean, it was overcast, so unfortunately there's not a lot you can do if there's overcast because the ocean reflects off of the sky. The ocean is blue because the sky is blue, okay? So there's things you can do to like add some color back in, possibly, but don't go on TikTok and talk about the photographer. What she's doing is she's batch editing because there are thousands of photos. You come away from a wedding as a photographer with literally thousands of photos, okay? They batch edit, they put a filter, usually something that either they've bought or they've created themselves, which by the way should be in their portfolio, and you would have seen this when you booked the photographer. And they slap a filter on all of them and then they kind of like tweak as they go along. If you want something specific, like let's say you see this photo, you love it, you're like, you know, I really like this photo, but like, is it possible to make the ocean a little more blue? You just ask them. You don't go on TikTok and you talk about them. I think these are great photos. Like, honestly, did you pull something reaching that hard? Imagine hiring a wedding photographer who has a warm as portfolio and getting mad your images are warm as literally. Sepia tones are very common. Like, the warmth in these photos is very common. I am also looking at a wedding photographer, which is crazy, who has sepia tones. And that's why I like it, because everything seems really warm. Everything feels like it's at golden hour. I like that. It also makes my red hair look more red, so. But like, it's in her portfolio. It's in her past work. You shouldn't be surprised that that's how they turned out. I'm very familiar with your photographer, and I personally think the editing is very on par with her portfolio. She's known for these warm edits. In my opinion, half of them seem like portfolio and half don't. Plus, her customer experience after was just awful. If a bride isn't happy, you should make sure that the happiest day of their life is exactly that. Yes, I agree with you. I don't know what the conversation is like. I don't know how you were to her either. But the fact that you're going online and about it, like, I don't know. Everybody who works on a wedding, including a photographer, has to make sure that the bride and the groom are happy with the outcome, okay? Photographers are expensive. I'll give her that. I don't know why she's surprised that the photos turned out the way they did. Like, they're beautiful pictures. Like, I don't... They're actually beautiful pictures. I love this photo of her and her parents. Like, I love them. Oh God, there's more. Oh God, we have an update. I'm also a wedding photographer and agree with you. You can find the photographer's Instagram on her Instagram. And it's obvious this is her editing style on all of her work.
whether or not her Instagram is showing that it's her editing style or not, okay? This photo over here with my eyes sunken in and I look like I have a black eye. Please explain to me how a photographer thought that looks good. Once I got the raw image, I turned it into this, okay, myself. I even had to go into Photoshop, and I'm not a photographer, and I'm not good at Photoshop either. I learned how to use Photoshop, and I circled my eyes, and I made my eyes brighter. It's the simple things like that. There's only maybe 10 pictures of solo bride me, and she couldn't make sure that that my eyes didn't look like I got punched in like a black eye. You know what I mean? So there is something to do with editing style and versus the Instagram. However, there's also something about delivering photos to your customer that makes sure that specific person looks good. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't look like she has a black eye. And look, at the end of the day, I made a mistake. I regret working with her. And I'm warning people to not work with her because of the experience that she gave me afterwards. That's not to discredit the fact that she took beautiful photos, but the post-edit work, not my thing, and it just, she's bad business practice on her end with the way that she treated me afterwards. But that's something I have to live with on my special wedding day, okay? I have to live with that I hired the wrong photographer at the end of the day. Plus, I did give her a whole Pinterest board. If she said, that doesn't look like my editing style, and I gave her the Pinterest board before I signed the contract. If she would have said, that's not really the style that I like, that I edit or whatever, she could have also very well said that. But no, she was money hungry and just wanted the money for the wedding.
Okay, so I agree with you on this point, okay? Photographers should accommodate, especially with regards to portraits, bridal portraits. If you don't like the shadows on your face, it's an easy fix. It really is. So the fact that she wouldn't do that for you is an issue. But I mean, your previous review just made it seem like you had no idea like what a filter looks like and you didn't like the warmth. That's a completely different issue than like not liking the way that a portrait turned out. Because yes, she probably batch edited, the photographer did, and didn't go in and like alter specific things like that are important, like making sure that the bride's face is lit up, making sure like the eyes are popping. Like this is just something that photographers should be doing. I agree with you on this part. I don't agree with booking a photographer and being mad that their tones are not the color that you wanted. The details could have been better. The coloring, however, I mean, it surprises me that you're surprised.
Did anybody else see this video where the bride was unhappy with her wedding photos? She liked her photos, but really did not like the way the photographer edited them, felt like they were too warm and made everything sort of sepia toned and like, you know, altered the color of the sky and of her complexion and of her teeth even. And for those who are freaking out, there's just some really interesting takeaways. You know how when you go outside and you put your sunglasses on, everything sort of looks sepia for the first few seconds, but then your eyes adjust to it because that's what our eyes do. They're seeing the colors in relationship to one another. When you're looking at photographers' work, say you're sort of looking at their work in their world, and you're looking at their photos in relationship to one another. And sometimes you're not looking at them without the context of the branding or the website. So it's very hard to perceive like whether we actually like the coloring of the photos or whether like separated out from everything else, like when they come back, when there are wedding photos, whether we will like them or not. A good exercise when you're shopping around for photographers is to like take one of their photos from Pinterest or something and like kind of put it next to some of the other things that you love, some of the images that you already love. Does it feel true enough to life to me? That might help give you a better baseline. Things get kind of nasty in this situation. The bride ultimately like pushed the photographer, like, I just want the raws, like I'm super unhappy with my photos. And the photographer isn't real. I mean, I'm only hearing one side of the story, but the photographer sounds like she's not relenting. She wants $4,000 for the raws or whatever. Also think that's super interesting. I don't like going through my hard drives to find extra pictures for you. I don't like turning color photos into black and white or black and white into, like, I don't enjoy doing that, but I do it every time. I never push back on people because I just want you to love your photos. I'm wrapped up in their egos of like, this is my art, this is my craft, like this is somebody's wedding. Like, be for real. If you want to go make art, go make art. Don't hold people's memories hostage because you want to like maintain your own brand or whatever. It's weird, but I don't know the rest of the scenario.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with her. Like if back in the day when I was doing portraits, if someone, you know, was like, oh, my teeth are a little yellow in this, like, would you mind like fixing that? You do it. Like, I'm sorry, but you do it. You might be a little annoyed about it, but like you still do it. And personally, I would make sure a photo looked so perfect that there was very little room for someone to be unhappy with it. So I agree with the bride that if she wanted something specific for her photos, the photographer should have just made sure she was happy. But if she came in with the,
I don't understand why they're this color.
that's not uncommon, okay? That's not uncommon. If it was an overcast day, that's probably how she saved a lot of the photos from looking flat. She made them look like it was a sunny day. There's thought behind it. I personally like that. Oh God, I wish I could show you guys the wedding photographer I booked. Oh, it's so pretty. It's exactly that. Like it's exactly that.
When the bride and photographer show up in the same dress for the rehearsal dinner.
Oh. I mean, what are the chances realistically? However, seeing as it's yellow, I think the photographer's okay. Like, it's a little awkward, I'm not gonna lie. Personally, I'm surprised the photographer's wearing anything but black, usually. Usually they wear just like a black plain outfit. But like, truthfully, it's not a white dress. It's just a really happy accident. I don't think it's the photographer's fault. She wasn't wearing yellow and it's an appropriate dress for a rehearsal dinner. It is. It definitely is. Okay, they're friends. Okay, makes sense. That's why she's wearing a nice dress and not, you know, like a photographer outfit. As a photographer, I would excuse myself for 15 minutes and buy a new dress. Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at her if I were the bride, but it's also a little bit awkward. Like, you know, it's also funny. I mean, it just depends on if you care or not, or meh. Okay, the bride is not mad. She's not mad. Thank God. Oh, I don't know. There's something about the cake thing, like they're putting the cake thing in people's faces that just isn't funny to me. I don't think it'll ever be funny. All I can think about is how much her makeup and hair cost and the dress and everything, and it's like, oh. And then she's just gotta wear that cake for the rest of the wedding. Oh. I mean, it's kind of funny. That woman to the left of the bride didn't seem too pleased about that.
I still can't believe my husband did this at our wedding.
Oh no, that's not funny. That's not, you couldn't just turn it off. It's your wedding, dude. It's a once, hopefully, in a lifetime experience. Oh man, let's take a look at the bride's expression. Oh, look at her. Oh, she's pissed.
This was caught on camera in China at a wedding recently. Bride and groom are getting ready to share a kiss. Apparently, the groom's ex-girlfriend bursts through the doors and yells out, "It's my fault," proceeds to start tugging on the groom's jacket, basically begging this man to be with him. And, you know, so he's pushing her off. And the bride, she's pretty calm for the most part, but she can't handle it, and she walks off and leaves both of them at the altar.
Now wait a minute, this is the girlfriend that's kneeling down on the floor, and that's his bride on the left?
Yes.
She showed up in a wedding dress.
Yeah, she had her own wedding dress too. Forgot to add that. You know, and she's left at the altar in her wedding dress all by herself crying.
Oh,
guys, the internet is just watching this one wide-eyed.
I mean, that happened at your wedding. You're never gonna be able to forget that. Oh man. Drama, 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 and I'm here for it.
She stepped forward. With too much sorrow, she expressed her pain in front of everyone. When trying to stop her, she cried while explaining to the people that this man is her husband. They got married officially years ago, showing them kids they produced together.
Oh!
She could not let the husband go to the other woman, yet he has even failed to provide and raise his own 5 children. Chaos in the church.
Well,
That's a pickle, isn't it? A bit of a pickle. Nice little pickle. Yeah. How to get a divorce at your own wedding, friends. He's like, I can do it, I can do it. Whoa! Oh man, what a mess. Oh, now there's broken glass everywhere. Oh goodness, homie just didn't want to be there, did he? He's just like, get this over with so I can go play FIFA. As if it wasn't bad enough your man didn't cry when you walked down the aisle 5 years ago. You zoom in and he noticed he did something worse. He wiped off the kiss. The audacity. You'll take my saliva and you'll love it. Really, we will be exchanging bodily fluids for the rest of our lives. And you have an issue with a little bit of lip gloss, honey? Wear that lip gloss with pride. Love it. Love every moment. Or I don't want it. All right, flash dance music is playing. Oh, they're gonna do the jump. They're gonna do the jump. Homie's got to get to the gym. Patrick Swayze would never.
The newlywed.
Oh.
You guys are. What happened to her?
Just carries her out. Yeah, someone partied a little too hard. Wouldn't you want to like enjoy your wedding? I don't know. Maybe once all the in-laws have gone to bed, then we party, but like. Oh yeah, he's super drunk. Oh, I've seen this before. So this is clearly in Russia or Ukraine, somewhere where it's a tradition to get the groom drunk. Yes, motherland. Oh God. This is so hard to watch. Just let him take a nap now. Let him sleep it off. He'll join us later and then shots. Everybody! Wedding cake fight. Is this like a tradition or something? Is this like something that happens? Because I'm seeing a lot of these and I don't really find them funny, but let's go. Oh, the whole cake in her face, eh? It's just not funny. It's not cute. It's not funny. And then he realizes. Okay, that's funny, all right? That right there is funny. Everyone laughed.
We were catfished by a $7,800 wedding photographer. Check this out.
What we thought we were getting versus what we got. Okay. There's some good pictures in there. Like, there really are some decent pictures. This one especially. This is a beautiful picture. This is a beautiful picture. So I'm not, like, and the rest of them kind of look a little bit like raw files, in my professional opinion. Yeah. But for $7,800, I don't know. She's posted subsequent parts.
If you want lots of photos of the back of people's heads on your wedding day, make sure to book Nicole Ashley. She's the best.
Okay. These look like outtakes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, when you compile them all like that, it looks bad. Okay. There's something fishy going on here. Let's see if the comments agree. Nicole Ashley photographed my wedding, and I can tell you there has to be more to the story, as she was incredible. This breaks my heart for you. Yes, you can get a high-end photographer, but they can't Photoshop you a high-end wedding. I think a lot of these can be saved with the right post-processing. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying, is like they look like they are raw files that haven't been edited at all. As someone who works in the wedding industry, I feel we aren't getting the whole story here. Creator response, the quality of the images were not up to par with what she advertises. Did she accidentally send you the before edited? Eek. She assured me these were the final product. I wish. It seems like there's more to this story. As a photographer, I worry so much about clients like this because yes, there has to be more to it than this. Is there something you're not sharing? This photographer is really respected. There's something going on here. Maybe they didn't pay fully or they were unbearable customers, so she just sent the raw files. Not up to the standard of quality that she advertises. We truly loved her work. That's why we booked her. For those just tuning in, there's something very fishy going on here. See? Fishy, fishy, fishy. It will be interesting to see how the story unfolds. The photographer is a Canon ambassador and her work is well respected. As a photographer, it honestly has a lot to do with the location, the lighting, and what the wedding is. There's gonna be a lot of really bad photos, just FYI. Thousands and thousands of photos are taken at a wedding. It's all day long, and there's gonna be bad outtakes. These are definitely unedited images. This is why most photographers ask that you do not post unedited images. Their work is unfinished. Getting the feeling the photographer was annoyed and said, here, just take all of the raw photos and gave them all to you, good and bad, unedited.
Okay.
Let's see what else she had to say.
Okay, so obviously, you guys, this isn't a joke. Like, these are once in a lifetime memories that we're never going to get back, and cherished moments that I trusted with this photographer. I did reach out to her after seeing the gallery, and I was completely distraught. I voiced my concerns to her. She did let me know that she spent 12 weeks editing them, that they were edited images, that there was nothing she was willing to do, no money back. She wasn't willing to do like a makeup photo shoot or edit the photos any further. You guys, I got 644 photos. I'm going to show you some of the gallery just so you understand and you can see what I was given. I don't know what to say. I'm heartbroken. Okay, so I decided to share the entire gallery with you. As you can see, none of the photos appear to be edited other than every once in a while black and white filter. There's no creative direction. This is the ceremony, going into the ceremony. There's no life to the photos. If you watch and start paying attention, you can see that there's a lot of them are not cropped properly. People's heads will be cut off. People will be half in the photo. This is just the meet and greets. So, but then getting into the family photos, one of the photos that was really important to my husband was he wanted a photo with our fur baby. His name is Hank. I think that speaks for itself. Here's another one. That was okay. Again, our faces are messed up in the other one. He's cropped out. I'm not even sure what to say. Like that image is okay. This, again, it doesn't look edited. These photos were very important to me. My parents have Clydesdale horses, and I really, really wanted a picture with their Clydesdale horse. These are the images that she delivered. There's hardly any direction. She did tell me that she spent hours editing this photo. In these ones where the bridesmaids were looking at each other, you can't even see my face. There's a big shadow. Yeah, I hate to out my husband, but he had a blemish between his eyes. She didn't photo edit out his blemish in his groom portraits. Like, he's the groom. So we're getting closer towards the end of the gallery. You can see there's a lot of the back of people's heads. I'm not sure why there wasn't a ton of people smiling, my family or anything, or my grandparents, which broke my heart. There's just no love and attention that was brought into these photos. And I looked at the other galleries that she advertised, and it's not what she was advertising. I wanted one good family photo. There's no posing, there's no love, you know, they don't even look edited. Our groomsmen's cut out. She did tell me that tells a story though. She said, you know, when they're cut out, it tells a story. This one I was like, oh, it was gonna be good, but my husband's not looking. You can see there's like a box in the background. There's like water bottles in the front. These were beautiful gardens where these photos were taken. Beautiful. Like there was flowers everywhere, lots of trees, there's fountains. So I'm not sure why the box is in lots of the images. Again, this photo is okay. It doesn't look edited.
That's a beautiful photo.
It's not the standard of quality that she was advertising, which is this is where I'm disappointed. You know, I was so excited for the photos and the work that I knew she was capable of. And I just feel like she hated us because these are our images. I was so hesitant to share these because they break my heart. I've literally cried over them. Yeah, and again, it just comes down to I was expecting to get a product and I didn't.
Okay. On the one hand, I can definitely understand paying that amount for wedding photography and being a little bit upset about, you know, things not turning out the way that you want them to. But you also have to take into account that there are factors that contribute to what your photos will look like. The location and the lighting being one of them. If it's a cloudy day, it's not golden hour, there are things that are going to affect what the photos look like. And there's not a whole lot that the photographer can do about the lighting other than maybe put a filter on it. So this is Nicole Ashley. This is her Instagram account. As you can see, yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful work. Lots of movement. Again, these shots are also at golden hour, which makes a huge difference. Yeah, beautiful shot. Yeah, so it does look like she has a filter on these ones and not on the photos that were sent to this bride.
Yeah, like beautiful.
But again, these weddings were very picturesque. Like there were things there that made it better. The dress was beautiful, the lighting was beautiful, the flower arrangements. And I can tell you that this photo of a horse looks different because it was taken at golden hour. Okay. I really would like to know what Nicole Ashley has to say about this. So these are some of the reviews. 5 stars. 5 stars. Nicole was the glue to our wedding process, and her smiling face and gorgeous photos mark each step in our journey. She was beyond organized, prompt, talented beyond belief, and has a personality we were immediately drawn to. Yeah, like all of these reviews are like people are happy with her work. All right, you know the internet. People did some digging, all right?
Hopped on TikTok tonight. First thing I see on my For You page, this girl slandering a photographer, and that she was catfished by said photographer, and that she didn't deliver anything close to what she advertised. Nicole Ashley is the photographer. She photographed my wedding, and she was amazing. This is coming up 4 years ago, and I will show you the photos. I do not know the entire story, but I definitely don't agree with hopping on TikTok and making a video and slandering someone.
Yeah, so beautiful photos. One thing I do find interesting is that the bride made a TikTok account in order to talk badly about Nicole Ashley's work. That's the whole reason why she made it, which I find sus. A little bit sus. If you go to her TikTok account, there's only 3 videos, and all of them are about Nicole Ashley and the photos that she delivered. So this was a response from Nicole Ashley after someone DM'd her. Thank you for your message. Yes, I've seen it. I was warned not to take her wedding from other vendors. She's been married before, and surely enough, they were right. She's completely unhinged and has been so awful to deal with. She blocked me from social media and yet was using the photos at first saying she loved them, and then came back later saying she wanted a refund. When I showed her screenshots of her using the photos, she made a TikTok account and started slandering me.
Well, isn't that interesting?
I love how invested people are in this. Like they're literally taking it upon themselves to try and figure out if Nicole was right in this situation or if Kendall's just being a bridezilla.
So first of all, I want to talk about everyone freaking out over her price point of $7,800. First of all, it's $7,800 Canadian. So that means it's going to be a lot lower of a number with US dollars because of the exchange rate. But it's still a lot of money. But what's included? If you go to her website, then you can see in her package, one, you get 2 professional photographers. So all these people that are freaking out and saying things like, did she hire an intern? Is there a second photographer? It doesn't seem consistent. First of all, she has a second photographer. So you get like double the amount of photos, double the amount of coverage. They're all retouched high, low res files, professional retouching services, and a fine art album. That's a value of $1,600, a slideshow, and full printing rights. So inside of this package, you have to hire a second photographer. Now, if you hire a second photographer, minimum you're paying them $50 an hour. And this package is a 10-hour day. So just say minimum of $50 times 10 hours. That's where some of your cost comes from, is what you're paying for in this package. Now, I'm not going to show the page that this is from because I don't want her to already get a lot of attention. I don't want people arguing back and forth on this page's comments. I kind of want to protect some of the other people that are involved. But you can see here, she sent this exact same message to multiple people and posted it. So she said she's seen the video. She was warned to not take this wedding from other vendors that have worked with this bride before. And she's been blocked. Originally, she was using the photos, said she loved them, and then said that she wanted a refund later. But then she had screenshots of her using the photos on her social media profiles. And she's contacted a lawyer for defamation, and she's just baffled as to what's happening. When pressed further, she said, I don't want to engage. That's why she's not reaching out with comments. If you're kind and supportive, she will respond to your DM. But otherwise, she's not saying anything. She said she doesn't want to feed into it. Get this, guys. Everyone's saying, why are the photos bad? She sent raw files. Proof right here. She sent raws. All she wanted was money. And apparently she threatened to do this if she didn't give her a refund, even though before she enjoyed her photos. So for all we know, one, there could have been a second photographer, that maybe the work is not something that the bride is happy with. And maybe that was the problem. That happens sometimes. Two, she's been warned to, the photographer's been warned to not work with this bride before, and the bride is now saying she's unhappy even though she liked her photos before. It just seems so messy.
Well, isn't that a interesting turn of events? So this bride wanted essentially a full refund. I'm sorry, you don't get a full refund. That's still hours spent going to the wedding, editing the photos.
This is sneaky AF.
Not a fan. I can understand if you feel kind of like you didn't get what you were paying for, but it just sort of seems to me like this is fishy. This is fishy, and you should be working this out with this photographer in another way that's not online, because things aren't adding up. Why are people so defensive of the photographer? I feel like doing wedding portraits of the bride and groom can help mend the client relationship. That is true, but not if this is what's happening. Not if you're a really impossible client. I wouldn't want to work with you either. Okay, but I've used this portal. The my photos are the ones you liked and put into this folder. Where's the full gallery? Bro, I'll post. I'll have nothing to hide. Heck, I'll give you my login. You didn't post anything. This was the only video that you posted. Still waiting for you to post the full gallery. Ah, interesting. Yeah, I've worked with these before. You like the photos that are your favorites, and that goes into a separate gallery. So the photos that she included in this were photos that she personally selected. Let me zoom in. I'm
so invested in this.
That says my photos right there. And if it's the platform that I'm thinking of, yeah, those are the photos that you selected. So you can literally curate that gallery. You should 100% show the full gallery. If you're not telling the truth, the photographer can sue you for so much damage. Fellow photographer here, this is not the full story, not even close. You can clearly see the My Photos tab, which is the photos that she liked. All right. You be the judge. Bridezilla or nah? subscribe.